Hello, Algebra 2, and welcome to Advanced Factoring, Day 2. Okay, on Day 1 we started with difference of squares, okay, and then we had quartic and grouping. Today we have difference of cubes, and the cubes also has a sum of cubes. So here's our two formulas. They look almost identical. If you have a perfect cube plus another perfect cube, think about what's being cubed. Okay, in this case it's x and y. X is being cubed to get x cubed. Y is being cubed to get y cubed. So the first spot, because it's sum, is going to be x plus y. Okay, and then in the second spot we have x squared minus x times y plus y squared. Okay? In the difference spot, we have x minus y, x squared plus xy plus y squared. So it's exactly the same stuff, just the signs change. How are you going to remember that? Okay, if it's a sum plus, the first one's a plus, the second sign's a minus, this last spot is always plus y squared, or your back one squared. If it's the difference, we have a minus and then a plus, and again the last one's always a plus. So let's look at x to the third, x to the third minus 8. What is being cubed? X is being cubed, and 2 is being cubed. We got a little list of cubes up here. 2 is being cubed to get to 8. So x is my x spot, and 2 is going to be my y spot. So we'll have x minus 2, because it's a minus 1, times x squared plus, multiply them together, 2 times x, always a plus, last one squared. 2 squared is going to give me 4 in that last spot. Okay, now good news, this spot should always be a nice answer. What makes x minus 2 equal 0? If x was positive 2. Circle it, box it, whatever you got to do to show that it's an answer, and remember to put it on the answer line. Bad news, this last spot never works out nice. Okay, always going to have to use the quadratic formula. Okay, so our quadratic formula, if you need to write it down, let's write it down. We got negative b, plus or minus, big square root symbol. b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, let's apply that over here. So we're going to have negative of our b, which is 2, plus minus big square root, 2 squared minus 4 times, our a is 1, and our c is 4. All over 2 times a, again, which is 1. Okay, take a look, make sure we see where all those numbers are coming from. Negative of our b number, plus minus, big square root, b number squared, minus 4 times our a number times our c number, all over 2a. Especially early on, you're going to want to go slow and really take your time with these steps. So 2 squared is 4, minus 4 times 1 times 4 is minus 16. Negative 2 plus or minus the square root of negative 12 over 2. Okay, and I'm going to come over here on the side and break down my negative 12. Alright, we can use negative 4 and 3. The square root of negative 4 should be 2i, and then we'll have our radical 3. So now we have negative 2 plus or minus 2I radical 3 over 2. 2, 2, 2. We can divide them all by 2. Negative 1 plus or minus 1I radical 3 over 2. All right. Now, let's slide over to this one. X to the third minus 27. Okay, let's think about what's being cubed here. We have x being cubed, and we have 3 being cubed. All right, why don't you go ahead and push pause and do that one on your own. Okay, and welcome back. Okay, we can see we have x being cubed and 3 being cubed. Again, it's a difference, so we're following this one right here. We're going to have x minus 3, x squared plus 3x plus 3 squared, which is 9. We got a nice answer of x equals 3. Here's my ABC. Quadratic formula. We should be getting negative 27 under there. Okay, I did the negative 27 over here. Negative 9 times 3. We'll get negative 3 plus or minus 3I radical 3 over 2. We had a radical 3 there and a radical 3 there. I wonder. All right, let's do a plus 1. X to the third plus 64. What's being cubed? X is being cubed, and 4 is being cubed. All right, so now it's a plus 1, so it starts with a plus. X plus 4. Okay, we'll have x squared minus, right, if it starts with a plus, the next spot's a minus. 4 times x. Always a plus on the last spot. 4 squared is 16. Nice answer. X equals negative 4. Okay, if you want to write out your ABC here, you can. All right, let's start plugging them in. Negative b, so negative of negative 4, plus minus, big square root, negative 4 squared, minus 4 times 1 times 16, all over 2 times a. So negative of a negative 4, that's a positive 4, plus minus square root of 16 minus 64 over 2. And that should be a negative 48 under the radical. Let's break down our negative 48. Any guesses? Negative 16 and 3. So we'll have 4I radical 3. And it's over 2. 4, 4, 2. We can divide them by 2. 2 plus or minus 2I radical 3. And don't forget your negative 4 from up top. All right, so that's 3 in a row. That's 3 in a row that ended with a radical 3. All right, I think we're catching on to it that these sum and difference of cubes formulas, when we do that quadratic, it's going to end with a radical 3. Okay? Let's do one tough one here. Now these have numbers attached to the x's. Now if it's going to be a sum and difference of cubes problem, that number is also going to need to be a cube. So let's look at this one. 8x cubed. Obviously x is being cubed. What's the number attached to it? 2. Right? We're taking the quantity of 2x, cubing it to get 8x cubed. Okay, and this one's going to be 5. So I'm going to get you started. Okay, we got 2x plus 5. And I'll go super slow motion here for this first one. We're going to take the quantity of 2x squared minus 2x times 5 plus 5 squared. Right, that 2x group is going in all the x spots, 5 is going in all the y spots. So this one didn't change. 2x squared, remember to square the 2 and the x, so that's really 4x squared, minus 10x plus 25. Okay, let's have you take it away from there. Go ahead and push pause and finish it off. Alright, let's see how you did. So 2x plus 5, we can set that equal to 0 and get negative 5 halves, or we can do the opposite of the back, negative 5, divided by the front, 2. Can do either one there. Okay, from this spot, our A is 4, our B is negative 10, and our C is 25. So negative B, negative of negative 10 is going to be positive 10. Negative 10 squared is 100. Minus 4 times A times C is going to be minus 400. Over 2 times A, we got 8 on the bottom. Finally, something besides a 2 on the bottom. 100 minus 400 is negative 300. Hopefully we see that we can break that down to negative 103. Now that you know that it's always going to be a radical 3 left over, it makes it pretty easy. Just divide whatever it is by 3, and that's going to be the biggest square that you have that will work. Okay, square root of negative 100 is 10i. So we have 10 plus or minus 10i radical 3 over 8. These don't divide perfectly, but 10, 10, 8 are all even, so we can reduce them by a 2. 5, 5, 4. Okay? There you go. These aren't too bad, especially once you figure out the pattern there with the radical 3. But they do take some work, okay, which then takes time. So, try not to rush. Go nice and slow. You should have plenty of room there on your worksheet to write kind of big. Take your time and do the best you can. Let me know if you have any questions, and good luck.